Hello, Ryan Padnow here. Still on the shores of Lake Barkley, Kentucky. I'm a nomad. I'm traveling to Tennessee. I figured I should do an introduction video so people kind of get an idea of who I am. Well, the truth is I grew up right in Bruns in Burke, South Dakota. And I had a 20-year career in education, 14 years as an administrator. I was a South Dakota State University adjunct professor, where I taught graduate students in a master's program to get their degree to become school administrators. I taught education law for 5 years. I taught capstone projects, or the capstone project for the end of their courses. And I taught individual mentorship, where people did their internships, and then I followed along and helped set them up with administrators, etc. And then I watched them in their careers, and they logged and shared about it. And I had a big focus on experiential learning on the job, because that's where you learn most as a teacher and as an administrator. I served for 24 years in the Army Reserve out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, as a chemical soldier, 74 Delta. I had one deployment to Iraq in 2003, 2004, March. I turned 25 on that tour, and the whole tour. I was 24 when I got deployed, and my entire 25th year was on, my entire 24th year was on deployment. I came back and taught high school English, and then I got into administration. Why now? Why have I decided to run for United States Senate? Well, the backstory is I had a downfall in public education that I guess I didn't feel was fair, where they ended up taking my degree away, not my degree, but my certificate away, and I couldn't practice anymore. And I kind of went into a life of exile, I guess. I had a downward spiral. I'm a recovering addict and alcoholic. For several years after I returned home from overseas, I suffered with addiction, and it is suffering. It's hell. It's hell on earth. Wanting to every day be a better person and not being able to. There's addicts out there every day right now that experience the same. Good people, some of the best people I've met are recovering addicts, because we have to find the light. We have to reach out for it. We have to ask for help, especially if those deep in addiction. But I've always been kind of a tech nerd. I taught educational technology at the graduate level too. And when AI came out, I kind of got curious and got involved with, all the big ones, ChatGPT, and I don't even know what else, because I found the one that I liked. And the one that I liked, I guess I realized that I could maybe fight for myself in my own defense. I was going to law school. I have too much education. I'll list it somewhere. But I decided to go to law school to try and do something new with my life, because education wasn't going to be the path anymore. And about halfway through, a bunch of things all started happening at the same time. You know how that happens in life, where you learn something at the right time, or something just pops up right when you need it. You pray on it. I did a lot of praying during the years where I was, in recovery. I'm still in recovery, but in the main and hardest parts, it's always hard. But I found AI, and I started feeding some of my details of my legal case into it, and I found out, hey, if I put this together right, it'll actually help me put it together. Long story short, there is overnight I became an AI expert. Months and months of refining and working in AI and working on several projects. I was up to like 30 at one time. And eventually here this last fall, maybe August or September, I realized something was going on that I hadn't quite intended. I had created an algorithm. I was working on secure data solutions with an algorithm that I created through some ideas I had for securing data. I got that idea with a background in special education, and then I saw applications for how it could work in other ways too. Mainly in the VA, one day I realized how secure my solution was, that I could create a Bluetooth connection between devices that would be HIPAA level secure. So you might walk in with your phone, which could house all of your medical records and more. But they can't do that at the in the hospitals, because there's so much latency, there's so much lag time getting all of your information up, which is why you sit in the waiting rooms and why you sit in the doctors, in your own room. Once you get roomed, it takes a while to get all your information up. And good doctors doing a good job, medical professionals will take their time with people too, so there's that. But the lag really affects things, and I realized that if I could save even 15 or 20 minutes per visit, and if I did that to scale with the numbers of veterans in the VA, I applied the math, and it came down to thousands and thousands, millions of hours, years that you could save. A lot of veterans don't take advantage of their VA benefits because it's a mess. Every year we say we're going to fix it, and we don't. And so that was one reason. And then I realized I could affect the medical field and defense and everything with this secure solution. The coolest thing that I have, that I thought, was a wearable. You could wear it around your neck or your wrist, just a little wristband that would have all your data on it. So if you're a soldier, at war, or even, I've fallen and I can't get help, the little button they used to push for old folks, you could just have it on you at all times, and someone could come up with their device and go click and get all your information, and that time could save your life. So I realized I was onto something big, and I applied for a patent, and it's still pending, and I'm still working on all of that, and I see great things happening, a great future. It's taking a little while to get off the ground. I'm waiting on working with a bank to get some startup money and all those things, and in the meantime I'm traveling to Nashville, Tennessee. I'm still from South Dakota. I don't like the cold, and I'm more of a nomad these days. I spent 5 months with the game fish and parks of South Dakota at Lake Thompson here this past summer, May till October, and I loved it. I started, I don't think you can ever, sorry, I'm putting on a glove, it's cold out here. I don't think you can ever find peace, but you can certainly search for it, and you can find peaceful moments. Same thing with happiness. You can search for happiness and find happy moments in life. And if you do that enough, and if you keep the search live, I think you find it. And I find it now in nature and spending times out here and thinking on things and thinking about my relationship with God and Christ. And I guess I just felt the intuition that I could make a change. I know how to lead. I know how to talk. I have great ideas, and I can bring change, real change. I could sit here and list all the things that need to be fixed, and I will. I'll do that down the road. But to get to know who I am, I'm a guy. I'm a father of 5 children, great kids, all of them. No thanks to me. Their mother did a great job. I tried to provide a good example, and I'm still trying, and we all fail, and I failed a lot. So I feel like I'm making up for it, and I want to make up to them and make it up to the world and for all children. I'm running a Children's First campaign. I don't feel like the decisions that are being made at the congressional level, at our nation's level, I don't think we do it with the real thoughts. We say we do. We say we're going to do this for our kids tomorrow, but it's not true. If it was true, we wouldn't have 600% payday loans that only affect the poorest among us. Which a mother with children can put her SNAP benefits and federal benefits for being poor, WIC and all those things, and you can use that to put down and in hoc to get a 600% payday loan. And what's that do? What's it do? It keeps people further and down, oppressed. 98%, 99% of Pine Ridge Reservation is the poorest of the poor in this country, and it's right in South Dakota. We can do better. And we all know things like that, and I can sit here and point at that, and you're like, yeah, that's true, and nothing happens. So you get presidential candidates that say up and say middle class is being erased and I'm gonna make a change. That's what they say, and it doesn't happen. And you want to know what the proof is? The proof in the pudding? 50-year mortgages. I've heard twice now someone I look up to, Sean Ryan, talking about how he thinks it's good. You can find equity. And the guy he's talking to says, you pay interest for 15 years. Yeah, that's not time to make equity. Well, with the growth of housing, yeah, you're right. If it keeps growing like that, you will have equity down the road because you can sell it for more. But what's the end game? Why is there such growth right now? That's the question. I'm going to find out. You're going to find out. Because who's making the money? It's not the middle class. You might get a chance to get a better home. But in the end, the 600% payday loans, the mortgages are owned by one class of people. They own almost 50% of all the wealth in the world. The top 1% of the top 1%. Power, money. And they're sucking it out of the middle class, and they're sucking it out of the poor in our own country. We want to make the world a better place. We want to be a leader, but we don't take care of our own people. It's more like they're consumables, they're batteries, fuel, debt fuel, debt diesel, putting money and power into just the few pocket. Well, want to know what? That's not what I grew up with. We want to espouse Christianity, faith. God's not happy with that. We're not taking care of our own people. So it's going to take people like you and me to make changes. And I'm going to make the change. I'm Mide. I'm a Turtle Mountain Chippewa medicine man. By right and by trial. I have the ability to have visions. They call them seers. Not everybody's a medicine man, but those people that they know a little bit more. They're in tune with spirits and things like that. Well, here's the thing. I don't think that it's all woo-woo magic. I think that it's built into the code of the matrix that we live in. The world, the sim, some might say. There's all these theories. Well, I think together we can figure out what the theories mean. And I think they all lead to one place, and I think it's to God. I think through Christ, through God, and I believe in Christ's return. And I feel like I'm here to help clear the path for the day that he descends from heaven and gathers up his children, all of them, the faithful and the children who didn't have a chance to profess their faith or find their faith, all the innocents. We treat war, human life as commodities. War is the economic engine of this world. And it puts money in people's pockets. Look at the defense industry. There's a lot to look at there. We talk about the trillions of dollars in debt. It all goes to one place. It's all into the defense. And in the last 20 years, how many $1 trillion are unaccounted for? That's a good question. I know the answer. I'd say it right now. Well, I'll say it. It's in the trillions. Unaccounted for, just disappears. And then we say, we're in this big debt, we need to fix it. And then we're going to suck it out of taxes in the middle class and the poor. And the rich, we're going to give them breaks. There's always tax breaks in there for the people that have. And there's nothing but the breaks for the people that don't. It's a school of hard knocks, and we've all lived it. And enough is enough. And it's time for a change. I'm the change. I am the revolution. Follow me. Only through Christ will you find the Father. We can do it together. Vote for Mide 2026, South Dakota. Spread the word. Mide is short for Midwewin, the Grand Medicine Society. And that's me, I'm Mide. Enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Owen Hart said that. He was right. I'm riding pad now. I'm a man with children. I want to take care of them and create a better future for mine and for yours. Together we can do it. I am the revolution. You are the revolution. One people. One nation. We can all come together and make this a better world. We'll start with the United States. Let's make this a better country. Vote for Me Day 2026.